Welcome guys to another video, and today I wanted to talk about the beautiful PSP. Now I love this console so much. This is by far my favorite console of all time. If you were to ask me, Ray, what is your favorite console of all time? It would be the PSP. And I'm going to talk about that today, so stay tuned. Welcome guys to a new video. Thank you so much for watching. It's great to be back and I'm glad to have you here on the channel. And today I wanted to talk about the PSP. Today is Valentine's Day. I wanted to show some love to my favorite console of all time. And if you were to ask me, Ray, what is your favorite console? It would be 100% the PSP. The PSP for me when I was growing up, I felt like we were going into the future. This was revolutionary, and I'll talk about how I first saw this thing and what my experience was and how I still feel about it till this day. And I was about maybe 16 or 17. Man, I don't remember when the PSP came out, but when they first announced it through the PlayStation magazine, I remember opening that magazine, and right in the middle it had the entire console right smack on the middle, and then they were like indicating like what each button did or what the functions were on the console, and that's when I fell in love with it. When I read through every single word of that review or overview of the PSP, I was like, this is the greatest thing mankind has ever seen. I was like, screw NASA, screw going to the moon, this is the greatest thing ever, because not only can you play games on here on the go, like AAA titles, like freaking awesome titles on the PSP, but you can play movies, you can listen to music, you can browse the web, you can have a radio, you can connect to the Wi-Fi, and they had these cool little discs that went inside. Like that, to me, was awesome. Until this day, the PSP is just amazing. Just like this. Stock, no jailbreaking whatsoever. And don't even get me started with the jailbreaking, but we will. Just stock PSP is amazing. There's so many amazing titles for the PSP, and I just can't get enough of it. And I wish I had more consoles, but my broke ass can't afford anymore. But I'm very happy and thankful for the ones that I have. And I did sell a couple because I had to make some extra money to make ends meet, so whatever. But here's my piano black. This is the one that my good friend Dennis sold me that was in the box. And I still have the box in the garage. I just don't have space up here. And a lot of my stuff is in the garage. I just kind of moved into my bedroom. And I don't have all of my collection out here. So here's my pink 1000. This is a beauty. I can't believe I got this for a steal on an auction. Has a little crack here and there, but I think I messed that up. But okay, whatever. Okay, and this is another PSP black, but I did, well, no, this was chrome first. It was black first, and then I changed the housing to chrome, and then that didn't work, and then I changed it to white. And yeah, absolutely loved it. This was kind of a Frankenstein PSP because like the UMD disc wasn't working, the LCD wasn't working, and I fixed it up and I was very proud of that. And here's my PSP 2000, the original silver. And I wanted to get a silver because this was actually the first PSP I purchased. I remember I told my dad I wanted some money for working with him, the construction, because he never gave me money. He was like, hey, I shouldn't have to pay you because I pay for blah blah blah, whatever. He's being a dick. Anyways, I was like, dude, let me get some money so I could buy a PSP. So he finally gave me the money. I went to Walmart, I remember, and I still remember how the Walmart was. And I think this was like maybe a year or two after I saw the PSP in the magazine, or whenever like the Ratchet and Clank released. But I went to Walmart, and it was the Walmart where you still had like the screens up on top, and you could like have the joysticks or the controllers, and you had to play like this. looking up at the screen. And I was like, I'm here to pick up a PSP. And he's like, okay, sweet. He opened the case and there was a bunch of them. I'll never forget it. There was black and silver. But I wanted to bundle with Ratchet and Clank because I wanted to start off with the game right away. And I'll never forget opening it, man. It was like the greatest experience ever. But going back to the magazine, I picked up this magazine in middle school. And I was just going through, and my brother was like, "Hey, you should." I was like, "Hey, where'd you get that book?" My brother, my little brother, he would go to school with me, and he was like, "Oh, I got this at the library." I was like, "You're picking up books at the library? That's lame." He's like, "No, it's not lame." He's like, "Look, I got this cool magazine, and I got these comics." He was like, "You're lame," and I was like, "What?" So I went and got myself a library card, and I always thought like going to the library was for nerds, and now that was a big mistake that I made. So I went into the library and I started seeing all these really cool books like magazines, comics, mangas, uh, and what intrigued me the most was the video game magazines. And I saw PlayStation. I was like, oh sweet, let's grab that. And I grabbed it, and I grabbed like maybe 3 or 4 that day. But the one that captivated me the most was that one with the PSP, and I did not know that that was even coming out. And that's how I found out about the PSP, was through a magazine. Now kids find out on social media and Twitter and all this bullshit that they got going on today. All these different releases that they can see at the tip of their fingers and not know how it used to be back in the day. We didn't have a satellite or cable or whatever you call it, so we didn't really tune into like the gaming channels that like how we used to. And yeah, opening up that magazine, I'll never forget. I wish I could have that magazine. I think that would be an amazing piece to add to my collection. But yeah, you opened it up, it had the PSP, they talked about it, and I just, man, it's so nostalgic just talking about it. But I fell in love with it, and I'll never forget it. Going back to the opening my first PSP, that was an awesome experience because it was like in a plastic box. I took it out, started playing. It was great. I had so much fun. In like 2 or 3 weeks, I broke the damn thing because I kept it inside my backpack like this, right? Like, I don't even know if that's a backpack, but just imagine this is the front of the backpack, or yeah, the front, and then I had it in this pocket, and I slipped on ice, and I fell. I was like, damn, that was a tumble. So I went home, I opened it up, and I was like, what's wrong with my screen? I was like, what the, my voice just broke. What's wrong with my screen? I was like freaking out. My voice just broke. My bad. My screen was all broken. I'm like, what the hell happened? And I was like, oh my god, I cannot believe this happened. And I walked around the entire school year with the broken PSP, listening to a couple songs that I had on here. And some of my buddies would make fun of me because I had a broken PSP and I still be using it. And I got so mad, and that's when that fire lit up in my ass to fix it. And that's when I started getting into homebrew and like how you could jailbreak. And I was like, I got on YouTube because I had a Wii at the time. I had a Wii. I Googled a bunch of stuff, and I was like, boom, boom, boom. We looked at like YouTube and videos, and I'm like, whoa, you can do all this stuff to your PSP. And I'll tell you, man, there's so many nostalgic channels. Like, there's this one channel that I still follow till this day and still go back and watch those videos. And it puts a big smile on my face because he actually followed. He actually followed my channel. He subscribed to my channel, and that's Vincent William Phillips. He was one of the original OGs to make PSP content, and I fell in love with everything that he did. I watched every video, and actually one of my videos that I have, a PSP hacks video that just showcases a bunch of stuff on my PSP, was actually a copy, or it's, well, I kind of copied his video because I was very inspired by it. I didn't want to be like a loser or be like, I'm gonna copy this guy. No, it was like I wanted to copy his video because his video was so badass in the way that he did it, and I did it myself. So I'll leave those 2 links in the description down below so you guys can go check it out. So I'm just nerding out on the PSP right now, and just having a blast. But yeah, it opened up a huge, like, I could not believe you could do all this stuff with the PSP. and people were jailbreaking it, adding like different mods to it, adding speakers, LEDs, and all this crap. I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? Like, what's going on here? Like, what the? I just couldn't believe it that you could add games. What the hell was a ROM, an emulator? And I was like, what the hell? And I met with this guy on YouTube. His name was PSP Freak, and he was the first ever viewer, first ever inspiration of mine to push me to make content. And he actually pushed me, and he was from Arizona. I think he was from Arizona or Colorado. But we lost contact through time, and I wish I could go back and meet this person, because I feel like that person changed everything for me. Like, he was very motivating. He was like, dude, you should make content. It would be great. And we would text all the time. We'd be texting back all the time. Like, it was through YouTube messengers, messages. Messages. Man, I am losing my mind. Messages. YouTube messages. And I uploaded my couple videos, and he found me, and that's when we were going back and forth on it. And just reminiscing about it is kind of sad, because I really miss this guy. He was very nice and kind to me, and I never had any friend do that, you know, because I had a very rough childhood. From elementary going up to high school, it was very tough. Being picked on all the time, and not having, I probably had like, maybe my entire lifetime of school, I probably had like maybe 2 or 3 good people, friends, and they all moved or something, you know, like really genuine good friends. So this guy, PSP Freak, he really motivated me and pushed me to make more content, and that's how I got into it. And also just seeing all these different content creators, you know, doing unboxings of the PSP. I remember when this guy was like, yeah, I bought this PSP ceramic 1000 white, straight from Japan. It costed me so much money, and he was opening it, and just the sound of the box and the wrapper. And then there was one of the gold champagne, like just that, everything about it was just so awesome. And I don't know why I get so nostalgic, or so like high about this crap. Is just I really genuinely love the PSP, and it's just something about it that I'll never let go. It's something about it that I'll never forget. And it changed my life forever, because if it wasn't for any of that stuff that happened, I would not be where I'm at today. You know, making the content that I am, meeting new people, having people come to my stream, or saying, hey, thanks for helping me with my PSP, or hey, thanks for the PS Vita tips and tricks and stuff like that. So yeah, if it wasn't for all that I went through, I don't think I'd be here today, being able to meet so many great people, making great content, having a lot of fun making content, learning how to edit, do thumbnails, and now doing other things that actually have benefited from doing YouTube, has benefited me to open new doors to different other stuff that I'm interested in now. Like, I never thought I would ever build a PS or a PC. Like, I feel like that's what kind of pushed me into getting into all of the stuff that I'm in today. So yeah, it's very nice. I love the PSP, and it's a big part of my life, and I always would cherish that console and have so much love for it. And it means a lot to me, and I'm so thankful just to have my babies right here, these 4 consoles. And I'm hoping to add more to the collection. And yeah, I just wanted to just express myself, and just talk about like my experience with the PSP, and how I got started here on YouTube and stuff like that. So let me know in the comment section how you guys got started with the handheld stuff. Now, the PSP was not the first handheld. It was actually a Game Boy Color, which I traded at school for like 60 Pokemon cards, and I got a red Game Boy, and my cousin still has it. That son of a, needs to give that back to me. But it was my original red Game Boy, and I got into Pokemon and Final Fantasy and Metroid. It was great, good times, man. I can't wait to get my red Game Boy back if he still has it. That'd be awesome. But yeah, let me know, guys, what you think of this kind of type of content. Let me know in the comment section what you think of the PSP, or how you got started, or how you stumbled across it, or what made you pick one up, or what made you get into the jailbreaking scene. Yeah, don't even get me started at the jailbreaking. Like the PSP was so, I feel like the PSP was the one that made that like opened the doors to like jailbreaking, you know, like the PSP made it cool. And jailbreaking in homebrew was like at a very early stage, and I feel like the PSP was so easy to go through and hack it and do all these different things to it. And I feel like that the PSP was one of the first that pushed it to where it is today. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say like the PSP was the number one, or it was the start of homebrew, or nothing like that, because I know there was other consoles and other stuff that was going on before the PSP, before its time. But I just wanted to mention that I know 100% that if it wasn't for the PSP's homebrew like community, when it was how it was back then, I don't think homebrew or anything like that would be where it is today, because the PSP made it badass and cool. So I'm sticking to that, and I don't care what anybody says. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, comment down below. Take care, stay safe out there, and I'll see you on the next one.